Weep Grana Weep Nitty Bong, I'm Engineer Hoist. Welcome to the Wednesday night Transformers Earth Wars news and other topics stream here on my channel. Thank you guys for showing up. If it's your first time here and you're watching the replay and you're not subscribed and you want to show up, just hit that subscribe button and the bell and choose your level of notifications. And come on back. We're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Whether you get a notification or not, just set your clock reminder. A lot of the people over here in the chat, they've done that. Now we've got G1 Red Alert here. We've got Big Bronze Rim, Grand Galvatron, William Wilkinson, Lightning Striker, Pete Francis Jr., Woody, Destroyer Fire Rage, Sharksea. A lot of familiar faces. I see Chris Taylor in here. And a lot of other people showing up here. Welcome to everybody. So we're going to see some new G.I. Joe inspired characters, and we can speculate on which of the G.I. Joe characters might be accompanying them, similar to how Duke and Cobra Commander are. Plus, we've got the results of the 5-star bot voting, so we know one of the 5-star batch. The others are still up for speculation. And let's see what else. Oh, we got some new G1 Power Cores coming. And also, it was first Monday of the month, so we got our VIP crystals. So we got some crystals to crack here once we get done with the news. Speaking of the news, let's head over there and do that. This weekend's event is called Social Engineering. And we just have to wait till the storyline comes around to figure out what the names of these things mean. They used to give us a little blurb about leading up to the story, but they've kind of just held back on that, and it's all in the in-game story, and that's cool. So this weekend's event, gather your alliance to take part to win a 4-star crystal. It's a standard 4-star crystal. Duplicates are available, just like the other 4-star crystals we've been getting. You can also win up to 2,000 premium shards, 40,000 spark, and up to 10 affinity crystals, each containing spark 3-star shards or 4-star shards. If this event sounds similar to you, it's because we've basically done it before, and pretty much the only difference is the name of the affinity crystals. I think they were informer crystals perhaps, but it basically was the same thing. Made the slides pretty easy to prepare. The event is, as obviously if you got to gather your alliance, it means it's an alliance event. Starts on the usual Friday and ends on the usual Monday. Start and stop times. It's one big totalizer, meaning no prestiges, and Super XP. Super XP. Those have been showing up a lot more because the players demanded it. Great weekend to level your bots. How do you participate? Just like in every event, you got to be headquarters level 4, and just like in every alliance event, you have to be in an alliance. You tap that yellow event button, select your zone, win, get your points, get your prizes, have a great time. Battle zones are the standard battle zones, and the totalizer prizes, there are multiple different levels where you can win prizes, but to collect all of the various prizes that you have to reach these levels, 181,000 will get you all 2,000 premium crystals shards, not the premium crystals. Forgot the shards there. You get to 296,000, and everybody in the alliance gets a 4-star crystal to crack. By the time you get to 376,000, you will have collected 10 affinity crystals, and if you complete the event with 400,000 points, you will have also collected all 40,000 spark. I think I skipped something. Yes, the affinity crystal rewards. What are in the affinity crystals? It's the same thing that was in the other one. All I had to do is change the name of the crystal. You can win the big prize, which means it's not going to be around very much for people, but 4,000 4-star shards, which is huge. But you can also win 2, 3, 4, 500, or 100 3-star shards, or varying levels of spark, anywhere from 2,000 to 15,000 spark. New bots revealed. I saw a lot of you guys in there talking about it in the chat before we got started, and some of you guessed from the shadows. Most likely you saw the newsletter because you signed up for the newsletter. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, that's where I get all my news from. But you can sign up and get it yourself if you don't want to wait for the stream, or you can just get it and still come hang out on the stream, and you can just know what's coming. But there should be a link in the game in the news area where you can sign up and basically give them your email address and they'll email you the details. Usually Wednesday mornings or so. So yeah, so first, the Autobot, new bot, is the Jetfire Sky Striker. The Sky Striker Jetfire, the Sky Striker is the G.I. Joe jet. So this is basically that jet painted as Jetfire, and this is based on a toy that had been released at one of the San Diego Comic-Cons during one of the recent years. So there you go. So there's how he looks. And we'll get a better look at him, I'm sure, probably next week. They may even show him off in game tomorrow during the live stream on the Transformers Earth Wars social media channels. Bumblebee said, I'm going to call him Sky Stricker. Okay, that works. And for the Decepticons, we saw him in the trailer. This is Skywarp Night Raven. So one thing we didn't actually know was whether it was the Sky Striker or the Night Raven, or at least that wasn't confirmed. We talked about it, maybe not last week, but the week before, where I showed off the toys. Now this one, they did not actually make a Night Raven version that was painted as Skywarp. They just chose to do this in the game. Maybe Hasbro said, "Hey, throw that. Maybe we'll see a Night Raven Skywarp at a future San Diego Comic-Con, perhaps." But the research I did, I could not find anything other than a standard G.I. Joe Night Raven, or rather Cobra Night Raven, and then obviously Skywarp. I mean, it makes sense. It's black, and Jetfire is the black jet, and so it even makes sense too, because in the IDW comics, Skywarp actually was shown working with G.I. Joe, not Cobra, but actually G.I. Joe. But so the Skywarp being involved in this little crossover event thingy that we've got going on kind of is true to previous Transformers / G.I. Joe crossover media. So where are his Cobra symbols? I don't see them on this paint over, but obviously with you see the little white spots there, it means this isn't necessarily final. It's subject to change, so they don't necessarily have all of the details on there yet. But I agree, in the trailer they showed them kind of up on his wings, similar to where the Decepticon symbol would be. I expect that we would see that once we actually get him in the game there. So they did mention in the newsletter that these two bots would be accompanied by a G.I. Joe character, similar to how the Hound Vamp, we see the Duke is there and the Soundwave Hiss Cobra Commander is there. Now the other G.I. Joe characters that we saw in the trailer and also in the loading screen, for G.I. Joe there was Snake Eyes and I want to say Scarlet, and then on the other side for Cobra there was Baroness and Storm Shadows. So pick it. These guys don't really say ninja to me. So I don't think Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow would accompany these guys. I'm thinking we'll see Baroness and Scarlet paired with these guys, and probably one more G.I. Joe bot that's not even been mentioned anywhere out there. So for those of you guys who are hating on this G.I. Joe crossover event, get ready. There might be one more coming after this. Maybe not, because I don't think there's any more crossovers that I saw that have precedence, because there was the Jetfire and Hound both had a toy released. The Soundwave Hiss Tank was released. There was also a Power Glide or a Rattler painted like Power Glide, and also Viper, of course, is one of the crossovers. He was the crossover before we had crossovers. So I don't know if we'll see the other guys in there. So time will tell. I guess we'll find out probably in about a month or so when the next bot comes around. I would say if we're going to get a third G.I. Joe bot, it will be the next one after these guys. I'd be surprised if they went back to just the normal lineup of bots and then came back to G.I. Joe, though. So yeah, his helm or head is pretty flat on the sides there, but they may work it out a little bit. Again, kind of a little preview thing there. So yeah, this is Soundpod's never a huge fan of G.I. Joe. Yeah, I get it, but they're both Hasbro properties. They were basically the flagship properties for Hasbro, at least for boys' toys. in the 80s. You know, I mean, you didn't have Transformers without G.I. Joe. You didn't have G.I. Joe without Transformers. I mean, a lot of little boys in the 1980s had both Transformers and G.I. Joe. I know I did. So, you know, it does kind of make sense because they are both kind of two factions fighting each other. So it's kind of the same thing, you know. But yeah, I would have preferred they stay separate. I've never been a big fan of the crossovers, or at least like large-scale crossovers. You know, like in Transformers even, where Cobra Commander showed up at one point as Old Snake. That was pretty cool. But, you know, beyond that, that's okay. It's still just a new bot going to be with new abilities, plays all the same ways. So what if he has a G.I. Joe alt mode? You know, it's all the same. It's all good. Okay, so the 5-star bots, the poll, you guys voted for First Aid and Reflector, and you know, it's great. I didn't do a prediction video. I'm probably not going to, but if I did, these guys would have definitely been on it because we didn't have a medic in the last one, and I'm thinking even if these guys weren't voted, they probably would have been in this batch anyway. But as it was, the fans wanted them, and as it turns out, these guys were actually number 5 in the last vote. So there's that. But for the top 5 bots, these are not the bot. This is not the batch. These are just showing you the rankings. So they came in. They got 11.5% of the vote. Tantrum and Hotspot came in second. The Impactor, the Impactors, I almost said the Impactor Twins. No, just the Autobot Decepticon Impactor came in third. Blades and Dirge came in fourth. Sandstorm and Octone came in fifth. Again, the only ones guaranteed to be in the next batch are First Aid and Reflector. The other 4 on the list may or may not be. They still could end up in the batch, but they might not. If I recall, the last time Warpath and Skull Smasher were in the list, weren't the top of the list, but they were like 3rd or 4th, and they did end up in the batch. So just because they ended up on the list doesn't mean they will be. Doesn't mean they won't. So I'm thinking we'll see Hotspot and Tantrum, though. I mean, they're overdue. But with First Aid coming in there, that would be 2 Protect-A-Bots. Maybe they wouldn't want to do that. Not sure. You know, I really can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I really hadn't given it a whole lot of thought. But so what? I don't know. What do you guys tell me in the chat? Who do you guys think are going to be some of the new bots going to be coming in to accompany First Aid and Reflector? One of the Grand Galvatron says, one of these days Octopunch and Sea Spray will be there. Yes, indeed, they will be. We need Scoop in the game, says Bumblebee. That would be cool. I'm not sure who they would pair him with, though. 5-star Sea Spray. It says Wind Chaser. Yeah. So, okay. So, we've got some new G1 power cores. We saw these in the newsletter. And I got a little bit of extra information. Now, just keep in mind, these ability descriptions are subject to change. When I first took a look at them yesterday, they have changed since yesterday, or at least one of them has changed since yesterday. So even though I'm giving you the descriptions now, it doesn't mean this is going to be final, okay? So don't hold me to it. Don't hold them to it. But this is kind of what they're looking at. So for G1 Swoop, and this is going to be the same for Scourge, it increases the special ability damage by a percentage and adds a protection from laser turrets and beam lasers. This is kind of like enhanced ordnance meshed with a reflective shield, which I think is actually pretty good. If I find myself with a G1 Swoop power core, I would totally slap that on my Swoop. G1 Sunstreaker increases the special ability damage by a percentage, similar to the Volatile Mixture. But if you destroy the target, the flames, because he does the incendiary barrage, sets things on fire. If the target is destroyed within the, I want to say 10 or 12 seconds that it's active, the flames will actually spread to more targets. And so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so also Gnaw, and obviously this applies to both Gnaws, both the Autobot and Decepticon version. The movement and attack speed of your minions is increased by a percentage. And then you also have Skyburst and Onslaught. It increases the regular damage by a percentage and also reduces damage for mortars and missile launchers. So it's kind of like a flak jacket with an additional meshed with, I guess, like an attack power core. So kind of like a flak jacket and an attack power core. Not a volatile mixture because that's only a special ability. So now that's going to be a tough one if you happen to have the Prima power core, because Prima is very good on Skyburst and Onslaught, and I'm not sure if this G1 power core for them would actually make me want to take Prima off of Skyburst. It would be very good to put on to, because I've got the 5-star Skyburst who's got the Prima, but if I get a gold G1 Skyburst, I'll put that on my 4-star, you know, or if you've only got a 3-star, then you put it on a 3-star, or if you don't have a Prime core, then you could certainly do this. So this is a good core to have. I still think Prima is better on Skyburst than one of these. But if you don't have the Prima, or you have additional Skybursts, then this, I think, would be good. Yeah, Big Bronze Rims is sitting over here agreeing with me. He says, I'm not taking Prima off of Skyburst. Yeah, so... Yeah, we can go through... I already kind of... The descriptions... not confirmed to be the same, but I'm pretty sure they'll be the same. They haven't really switched them up, you know, when they're keeping all the bots equal. But so here's how they look for Scourge and Swindle, Gnaw, and Onslaught. So obviously Gnaw is just the same. He's just got the purple background instead of the red. But yeah, so there's Onslaught. So everything that we just said about Skyburst applies equally to you Decepticons out there for Onslaught. Prima, I think, is going to be the better core if you have it. But if you don't have it, or you have extra Onslaughts, I think this would actually be a very good core. And that's it for the news, other than to say check out the official Transformers Earth Wars live stream tomorrow on their social media channels on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I think it's going to be at the usual time, but we're right at that daylight savings time nonsense. I kind of wish they would just get rid of it. I mean, who cares? Whatever benefits they may or may not have had in the past, it's not... it doesn't apply today. It's just some stupid little tradition that we still do. But anyway, because of all of that nonsense, for a week or two, sometime around the clock changes, normally it's at noon Eastern time. It might be at 1 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Eastern. Not really sure how it's going to work out. So just keep your eyes open. If you're subscribed to their channels and you can get notifications, put the notifications on so you'll know when they're actually going live. If it's not quite at the time that it usually is. So yeah, there you go. Sure, he says it's nonsense. Yeah, just like all that G.I. Joe crossover nonsense, right? I can't believe you guys are talking about He-Man crossovers. He-Man's not even Hasbro. That's definitely not happened. Now, you know, it is Hasbro, My Little Pony, so just, you know, we might get My Little Ponies in here. No, we're not. I'm just kidding. I just kind of wanted to rile you guys up. There's no way, but definitely not getting He-Man. That's not even Hasbro. So... Now, Ghostbusters, they have been working with Ghostbusters. They put out that Ghostbusters Optimus Prime and the Ecto-1 or whatever. So it's unlikely that would happen because I'm not sure, because Hasbro doesn't own the Ghostbusters. I think they just license it to be able to make toys with it or whatever. But oh, there's the oh God please nose for the My Little Pony mention. A little bit of a delay because of the lag. Oh yes, love it. I love it. I elicited the response that I wanted. Okay, so we're done with that. Oh boy. So, okay, so I think we've got it. What you got? Your opinions are on that crossover suggestion. That was more of a troll than anything. I don't watch it. I just no interest in it or whatever. But I'm aware of it because I follow pop culture. Anyway, so Patrick Starr, here's a shout out. Thank you for supporting the channel, buddy. Alright, so let's see. I promised you guys some crystal cracking, didn't I? And I got some toys to show off here too, which are kind of sitting on my cord. Alright, so we've got 40 crystals. 40 crystals. We got a few free crystals in here for some reason. 3,000 spark, that's pretty nice out of a free crystal. Smart bomb. And a hotspot. Incendiary. Okay, so I ended up doing got 7 of these trick and treat crystals. How about we crack those open? I totally forget what was even in them. Shark attacks, okay. I think there were some premium shards in here, weren't there? 1,500 combiner spark. That's right, those are good. That's good. More shark attacks. There's 1,000 premium shards. 2,500 spark. Another 1,000. And another 1,000. Alright, cool. How about I go ahead and go get this? I'm going to bolster up my Decepticons a little bit with these. Maybe. They could all still be duplicates. So I've got a fair amount of Decepticons. Remember, if you guys are fairly low level in the game or whatever, and bots are hard to come by, spend all of your shards on Autobots or on your main faction. So don't waste the time with the factions feature unless you've just got a lot bots and you've been spending way too much money or whatever. So these are Guardian Crystals, so we're just going to get some shards out of these. How'd my Halloween go? It came and went. I haven't really done a whole lot for Halloween in the past few years. Yeah, I think there's also a little bit of coming down from TFCon, plus a few other personal things going on, which I don't need to get into. But so yeah, Halloween I kind of just shut the lights off and hid. Nobody knocked at my doors. It's weird in my neighborhood. I've been here, quite a few years, and the few times that I have been ready, I had candy. The lights are on. I even had some. I even maybe threw on a half-hearted costume or whatever. Nobody rang the doors. But the times where I wasn't ready, didn't have anybody, I had somewhere to go. I'm getting ready to go off somewhere. That's where the doorbell ding 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 ding. It's like it's like they couldn't figure it out. Well, this year it all came together. I didn't prepare for it, and nobody showed up, so it actually worked out well. Yeah, so I had a nice big bag of Halloween candy, which was not ever intended to give out. I like it when Halloween comes around because you can go into Target or something, buy a big bag of Halloween candy, and nobody looks at you funny. Yeah, but if you go in March and buy a big bag of candy, they're like, yeah, you're not eating healthy. But if you get it in Halloween time, they're just like, hey, cool. So there we go. Got a handful of 5-star shards. Got some 4-star shards there at the end. So now we're down to premium crystals. How about we open up those 3 Decepticon crystals? 3 Decepticon premiums that we just got from those trick and treat crystals. We got a 2-star Slipstream. Wouldn't mind getting another, boy, look at that. Not only did we get a duplicate 2-star Slipstream, we got a duplicate 2-star Slipstream. Wow. A little bit of a deja vu there. And there's a Brawl. I wouldn't mind getting another 4-star Decepticon. It's been a while since I got one of them. I haven't really been trying, though. So. Wonder if we'll get an Earthwise Slipstream? Uh-oh, look, we're getting something. There's a 4-star Decepticon. And it's Ripper Snapper. That's a good 4-star Decepticon to get. Yes. Thank you very much, Decepticon Premium Crystals. Very nice. And then we're back to the dupes, and that's okay, because I'm not going to complain about a 4-star Ripper Snapper. And there's a dupe 3-star Astro Train. Cutthroat. Yeah, Ripper Snapper is the same as Slash. Slash is awesome, so yes, I am very happy to get that Ripper Snapper. There's a Megatron showing up. 2-star Megatron. Swindle. And the last Decepticon Premium Crystal gives us Soundwave. The low 2-star Soundwave. The literal face of the Decepticons. And now we're off to the Dupe City party that are known as the Autobot Premium Crystals. There's, I think I counted, there's only like 7 bots that I could possibly even get out of these. There's a 3-star Sea Spray dupe. Ultra Magnus 4-star version of that guy is one of the ones I could get, but we only went to 3 stars this time. Yes, that was old Soundwave, not a new one. There's Rodimus Prime. Yeah, remember when Soundwave was only 3 stars? Yeah, and Wheeljack too. Yeah. Blaster. Shockwave. There's a duplicate Snarl. Sandstorm. 4-star version of that guy is one of the ones that's out there. Plus also Windblade. And I think Cybertron Jetfire has made it to Premium Crystals. So those are the 4 stars that I am lacking. Grand Galvatron has counterpart Hot Rob. Yeah, we were talking in the Discord earlier that there's a little typo out there on the Transformers Earth Wars wiki. So Trini Reaper is looking to join an alliance. Is anybody, if anybody's out there, are you an Autobot or a Decepticon there? Because that kind of makes a difference. And there's the last Premium Crystal. There's the Cybertron Jetfire. Shows that he is indeed in the Premium Crystals. Just short a couple of stars for the one that I need. And I'm pretty sure that one crystal... Oh, that's a 3-star crystal that we can get. Well, you know, there are a couple of 3-star Autobots that I could potentially get. I can't remember off the top of my head. Cybertron Jetfire, I think, is one of them. I'll be pretty amazed if this actually produces one, though. Okay, I'm not amazed. 3 stars, Sea Spray. Okay, so there we go. And so we'll go over here. Decepticons. So filled up that top row of my Decepticons with the 4 stars. So we get to add Ripper Snapper to my 4-star squad of Kickback, Bludgeon, Brawl, and Straxus. So there you go. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, we've got Skyburst out of here. We've got Prima on her now. Still thinking of cores to put on Impactor. I did finally add a Vitality to Rook because that increases his health, which then also in turn increases the health of the decoy. And I'll tell you, high level 4-star Rook, that decoy lasts a very long time. Yeah, I almost kind of wish the decoy lasted a little less time so I could take advantage of that explosion. But you know, it's good. It's good. And then, of course, I've been working on Streetwise a little bit. We saw Streetwise last week. He came in here. We got him to level 30, so I haven't been rushing the leveling. Plus, I also had another bot I was leveling. I think Skyburst. I had to wait a couple of days before she finished leveling past 50. I'm trying to join an Autobot alliance. You know, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but there's out there. There's like Transformers, Earth Wars fans, Earth Wars addicts. There's a few groups out there with Transformers Earth Wars. If you go and say, hey, I'm an Autobot looking for an alliance, tell them what you can do in an event, because that's usually what people are looking for. And somebody out there will say, hey, come join whatever alliance. We're actually full at the moment, I believe. Indeed we are. So so I can't really say come join us, because we don't have a spot. So who's Rook's counterpart? That is Blot. Yeah, a couple of you guys beat me to it. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, Defensor. Defensor has a super high amount of health. Look, this is level 10 Defensor at 4-star. He's got 47,000 health, which is the same as a level 13 Volcanicus. But the attack also, Volcanicus is at 420 and Defensor is only 270. So he definitely has the health versus the damage. And also level 10 Defensor is higher than a level 12 Victorion. And also higher than a level 10 Optimus Maximus. So there's a little bit of comparisons. Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to show you guys. I don't know if you guys are following my Twitter. I have been a little bit more active on Twitter recently, but forming that Defensor 4-star. Once I got him out, boom! I hit the prime level in the collections, which means I've got a lot of bots. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, it's pretty cool that we get there, but that also, there's a lot of dollars. You can't really see it, unless maybe if you look really close, you can't really see it, but there's a lot of dollar signs in that little symbol there. But yeah, so I've got 3-stars and 4-star combiners, got them all. I've got 8 of the 12 prime power cores, the prime cores, and quite a bit of other bots there. So plus, I have got quite a few Decepticons. I'm not sure if you could even hit the prime level unless you did actually chase some Decepticons. So interesting thing. I'm not sure if it's. Oh, it has finally shown up on the leaderboard. It took a couple of days before it actually showed up here on the leaderboard. But yeah, so that's it for the game. Engineerus Hoistimus Prime. That means I need to go get a trailer then, right? Because don't like all primes turn into a truck with a trailer. Yeah, because there's that little thing of there was a camper trailer made for a Volkswagen Beetle back in the day. It was so funny because it like attaches to the roof or whatever, so somebody found that at some point. It shows up every few months or so out on the fan pages or whatever, calling it like Bumblebee Prime or whatever, because it's a Volkswagen Beetle with a trailer. So will there be a G1 Windblade? I'm sure at some point we'll see a G1 Windblade core. Full batch for the new 5-star bots. They said it'll be a few weeks. They'll release them. All we know right now is First Aid and Reflector for the Decepticons. So no trailer for Hoist. Well, Hoist is a tow truck, so technically anybody can be his trailer, because when he's towing somebody, the person he's towing, or the car, or the vehicle, or the bot that he's towing is his trailer. So Hoist is kind of a prime already, anytime he's towing somebody. Is Bulkhead a G.I. Joe character coming? Not that I'm aware of. No mention of Bulkhead related to G.I. Joe or anyway, or just in general. But speaking of Bulkhead, this is that TFCon exclusive Bulkhead. Bedrock, actually. But so this is the alt mode, obviously. I forgot to transform. In fact, just like 2 minutes before, I ran over to the other room and got him because I forgot to. I forgot, so I didn't get him transformed. But this guy is huge. He's huge. I'm trying to think of somebody to compare him to. Well, how about I just grab Impactor over here? So you guys are familiar with Impact, or at least a standard deluxe class Transformer. Look at the size of this guy. He's humongous. Absolutely humongous. And yeah, I could not believe it when I got him out. I was like, oh my goodness. But he's pretty nice. I will say one thing, he's kind of got shoulders that really hinder the articulation in the arms. It's probably just a thing with this mold, because they originally did this as a Roadbuster and as a Striker, and I would imagine that they had this probably just changed the head. Gave him a nice bulkhead head, which is nicely tucked up in there, so he definitely does not suffer from visible head syndrome. You can see his chin right there. So, but I did post a picture of this guy up on my Twitter, so like I said, I have been a little bit more active on that. So Sharksy says he's an absolute unit. Indeed he is, although he's thin. When you actually transform him, he's actually quite thin. Tall and thin, as opposed to short and I don't want to say fat, bulky. Another one that we got out of the package is this guy. This is Ultio, or their version of Senator Ratbat. And I don't know how well it's coming across, but the purple on this is absolutely gorgeous. Welcome to the channel DXXX. I'm not sure. Oh, there you are in the chat. DXXC Extra. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. But yeah, so you can actually put out his wings a little bit, so you can get kind of like this is his cruise mode, and then fold them in, and then that's like his attack mode or whatever. He's almost a Batman symbol. I mean, he's Ratbat, right? You know, so there you go. But yeah, so he's definitely a, you know, after getting him and transforming him, he is definitely a retool of this guy, which is their wing, or I think they call it Aero Alpha, as opposed to he's more of that guy than their drift. But yeah, he's absolutely stunningly purple. And heavy retool, definitely very heavy retool. Can show you Defensor, dude. We just looked at Defensor, and we're looking at the toys right now. If we have some time at the end, maybe we'll go back to Defensor. Continuing to ask and raising your voice by typing in caps isn't going to get you what you want, though. So, but I'll try to keep it in mind. When I stop talking and feel like I'm kind of like winding down, I'm like looking for things to do or whatever, remind me then. But okay. But yeah, so there he is, and these guys, they're a little complicated to transform, so that's why I don't really want to do that here on the stream. The other one, it took me a while before he was buried under all the other ones. I've been kind of going through, opening up a couple of bots a day or whatever, and I finally got to this guy. He's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the Planet X Vulcan, which is their Grimlock, and oh my goodness, he is, the blue is it's just so rich, and it's almost a little metallic. The gold is definitely richer than on the original one, and you know, there's kind of his head there. It's huge. The teeth are nice and silver and pointy, and it's just definitely quality. I happen to have the original version here, so you can kind of see the gold on the G2 one is much shinier and richer. Even the red is brighter, and probably due to, I think, the original one is mostly the plastic color, whereas this guy, I want to say it's paint over there, which definitely would give it a little bit more of luster or whatever. He did actually come with the same shield and sword as the original one, and I'm pretty sure they're the same color. If they're at least very close if they're not exactly the same color. Most of the color changes are in the figure itself, but oh yes, this guy. I'm very happy to have this guy. Somebody asked how many figures do I own? Way too many. Last count, it's well over 1,000. And that includes, if you know, going. I do kind of include like the little headmasters, or whatever. But even if you don't include them, it's probably over 1,000. Let's see. Other ones that I was going to show off. Oh yeah, there's this guy here. This is the the Ocular Max Impetus, which is the from Mastermind Creations. This is the Vortex, obviously. Part of their Bruticus combiner, and I was impressed by how big he was. I did not think he was going to be this big, and the blades do actually fold out. I like having them folded up because they don't take up quite as much space, but he's huge. He's actually very large, and we just saw pictures, I think today, of their Onslaught standing next to this guy, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, this guy is tall. Then I saw those pictures, and that Onslaught, if he was standing in the same spot, I swear that our Onslaught is about this tall. So it's going to be a huge combiner. I actually saw the thing combined at TFCon, which is what sparked me to go ahead and go in on this little set here. But much better in bot mode. I don't recall what the Zeta looks like, but yeah, he's very nice in bot mode. The back transformation is a little tricky, but I had seen a review on this guy, so I kind of knew that going in. But I was able to figure it out without the instructions. I'm surprised. I actually did this whole guy without the instructions. Now, getting back into vehicle mode, into helicopter mode, I might need to consult the instructions. But yeah, he's a really nice bot, really great looking in copter mode too. But it wasn't just the Bruticus that we saw there, but they also had the version their blast off and their swindle there. I'm not sure what they're calling them, but I'm a sucker for a space shuttle transformer, and I'm a sucker for a Jeep transformer, and those guys look fantastic. They didn't have them in vehicle mode there, but I'd seen pictures of them. But in bot mode, they both look great. And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna get those two, might as well go ahead and get the rest. So I went ahead and got him there. Yeah. Now this guy is Vortex. Is similar. It does have a similar helicopter mode, but no, this is definitely Vortex because he forms the arm of Bruticus. If we open up his leg panel, you can see the hand, or at least half of the hand in there. That's kind of what they're doing with this. That's the unique thing about this particular line from Ocular Max is it's called all built in. You don't have the hands separate. The hands are built in. It's incorporated in the vehicle and the robot mode. So when you transform it out of Bruticus into all of the individual bots, there's no extra parts left over, unless you get the add-on kit or whatever that they do. Does he have Shockwave as his gun? Not that I've seen for these guys. The Iron Factory Bruticus, the little legend scale, does have Shockwave as his gun. So yes. The other one, I actually just transformed this guy, got him out and transformed just today. This is Masterpiece Movie MPM 9 Jazz. There is no fake name because this is the official movie Masterpiece Jazz, and he's pretty nice. He's probably the best movie Jazz that I've seen. I've got like the Human Alliance one and the Studio Series one, which is probably about that big. But he's very nice, pretty detailed transformation. And is he's able to transform? Yeah, absolutely he can. This guy actually did go to the instructions for a little bit of help because he's quite complex. A lot of people have been asking, does he split apart like if when Megatron gets in like in the first movie, does he split apart? Well, indeed he does. He does actually split apart. Like in the first movie. Not only that, they give you an accessory with his spine and some wires that you can just plug right here onto his the port. So there he is. There is dead Jazz. there he is with the spine and everything. And I haven't got to the point where I actually have the Masterpiece movie Megatron holding him. I haven't quite got there yet. But yeah, there he indeed does. Not only does he split in half, they actually give you an extra piece to show the result of what happens when he's split in half. So yes, indeed, you can kill Jazz if you so desire. So and then you just kind of, it's basically a mushroom peg. There's a button on the back there with a little latch, so it allows you to basically, put it on there, and there you go. He's all back. Hey, look! Ratchet made it, and he fixed Jazz. There was one other little accessory that came with him, which I thought this was kind of interesting. It's like a little figure of Sam Witwicky running with the cube, and when I saw this, immediately I was like, that looks like the exact pose that dude, I forget what his name is, from the Age of Extinction was stuck in. What was his name? T.J. Miller? I forget what his name was in the movie. But where they dropped like the seed or whatever, or Lockdown's bomb or whatever, and he got turned into metal. That's basically almost the same pose that he was in. I was just like, if he wasn't carrying the Allspark, he totally could have been that. So yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, just thought I'd show that off. Yeah, Brick Bronze Rim, it does. The X-Transbot Stunticons have the same thing. Where they come apart, and I'm not sure if you've seen the pictures of their Menasor put together. It's obviously why they come apart, because you split them apart because one part is on the chest, the other part's separate on the not the chest, the upper arm, the other part's on the forearm. Which I think we all kind of figured that's what it was for. I mean, why else would they intentionally come apart? I mean, it's not like it was a story beat like it was with Jazz. No, it wasn't Cade Yeager. Cade Yeager was the Marky Mark character, or Mark Wahlberg. No, it's his buddy. That was the one that got frozen in the statue. I cannot remember. I don't think I had anything else to show off. I don't know if anybody caught it, but I mentioned the little New Age Cosmos. He's got the little stand. Looks like he's abducting somebody. So, where's that Witwicky kid? We'll take him away. Who's my favorite Transformer? Hot Rod. There you go. Who is a movie? Who is the voice actor of movie Jazz? Scatman Crothers was G1. I'm not sure who did the whatchamacallit, the Bayformers. Yeah, Windchaser was the guy who was frozen in metal. Luke, the surfer hippie. Yes. Put in a miniature cow. Well, it doesn't act. that would be funny. It'd have to be a really small miniature cow. All right. Okay, so we're closing out to the end. I'm gonna get back to you. You wanted to see Defensor. DXX whatever. Sorry, I don't remember your name, but. Okay, so you want to see Defensor. I've got Ratbat tied up in my cord. Let go, Ratbat. Oh, so pointy. So there is Defensor. You got the blades, first aid, rook, streetwise, hotspot there. Yeah. Don't get me started on that, Ian Henderson, about Hot Rod for killing Optimus Prime. Hot Rod did not do anything. That was entirely Optimus Prime's fault. I mean, Megatron pulled the trigger or whatever, but Optimus Prime had plenty of time to take out Megatron. And so if Megatron was holding Hot Rod as a shield, right? That's what everybody says. Oh, Megatron was holding him as a shield. Let's say this was Hot Rod. Let's go back to the camera. Okay, I'm pretty passionate about this. Not that it really upsets me, but okay, so if you're really trying to take a shield, you'd have the guy right here where you're behind him or whatever. He was holding Hot Rod back here, presenting himself to Optimus Prime. Optimus totally could have taken out Megatron without even hurting Hot Rod the way Megatron was holding him. There was nothing Hot Rod did that would have caused any of that. He certainly didn't directly do it. So that's my thing. Plus, it took forever. He took like 30 seconds to walk over. I understand he was hurt, but he had plenty of time. Then he went and did a classic villain blunder and was monologuing. It was like, Megatron, I thought you were made of sterner stuff. Instead of talking smack to him, boom, you could have taken out Megatron, and that happened all before Hot Rod even got there. So, change your mind about the whole Hot Rod thing. Or don't. You know, whatever. Hot Rod didn't need to be in that fight if Optimus Prime would have taken care of business, is what I'm saying. Should have had Groove Angel on his shoulder. Groove Angel. I just understood what you said. Because Groove's dead, to have like a Groove Angel. Like his conscience. Oh. Yes. Nice one. Finally got Bullwinkle. Anybody who's new to the stream, Bullwinkle is Armada Megatron. In a 3-star Scrapnel. Very cool. When is your next live? I'm here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So, there we go. Let's say we go
Autobots, roll out.
I've got the Or 13. How about we go in battle with Defensor?
Combiner engaged.
Ian says sorry, but no. Might as well try to convince you that Rumble is blue or red, depending on whichever is opposite of what you think, right? That's kind of basically where people land on the whole Hot Rod debate. It might as well be talking about who's red and blue. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and drop Defensor in here.
Stand your ground.
Oh, I think, is that a new one? Stand your ground? I play with the sound off, so I don't really pay that close attention to things. He does that big jump, drops all that down. Then we're going to go rush in there. That should give us a little stacked damage. And then let's do this shield. That does a reflex, which would be perfect there if those shock towers come on. Oh, look at that. That was awesome. That was so cool. Oh, man. Oh, I should have dropped the bots first. Because then they could have been farther in when they came in with the shield. So he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but man, those special abilities are pretty awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and bring them in. And see, they do have a shield that came from Defensor. And this is a good time to have Sludge on the team so we can go and take out these walls. Yeah, Perceptor's good on there because he has that built-in Leech Maximo, basically, where he hacked Tantrum and walked them away from everybody. No, I can't do anything with Volcanicus now because I've activated Defensor. He's got to finish the 15 minutes there. colorblind anyway with red and blue doesn't make a difference. Hey, there you go. Or Craig Albatron said, was it says just like where it's 2 frenzies, or is it 2 rumbles? Depends on where you fall on that. And you really, TF Wiki has a pretty good layout about who's red and who's blue. It really depends on what your continuity is. The toy obviously is what came first, where Rumble was red, Frenzy was blue. And I think it's been confirmed that it was an animation error early on that they just continued through the rest of the series that made Rumble blue and Frenzy red in the cartoon. But since that's what I grew up and that's what I knew, I never had the toys. For me, Rumble is blue, Frenzy is red. But I am flexible enough to accept whatever name that they're called in whatever continuity. And if you do look at that list, you'll see that the Rumble is red, Frenzy is blue, is the majority of the instances. But there's more than just the G1 cartoon where Rumble is blue. So, but yeah. How many teams can be deployed? Not sure what you mean, how many teams can be deployed.
Roll out.
Well, I have 13 squads. I mean, you can only send 1 team at a time. You can only have 1 combiner active at a time, if that's what you're asking about. Well, I'll use Victorion next. I'm not going to be staying on long enough to be getting over into Victorion or Volcanicus or anything. But I don't think we've shown off Defensor, and we had a strong request for Defensor early on. I'm not sure if he's even still around, but
Sunstreaker, now reap the whirlwind.
So we'll go get these in here. I always like to send Star Saber in there. It does a nice little swipe. And now that we got him in there, we'll drop Defensor. Bot squads, yeah, 13 is the max. Just take your time there, Defensor. No rush. Did you see him moonwalking? This would be a good time to put that shield on. Oh, look at the reflective took out the that missile launcher. Oh man, that explosion is so cool. Oh, I didn't get off that last one. But look, they got all got the shield. That Defensor is great. I mean, my Star Saber is pretty powerful. I mean, he could, you know, this squad by itself could take out this Zone 13 pretty easily without Defensor, but Defensor certainly made it a lot easier. How do you get Defensor so fast? Some of them are new. Well, most of them, Hotspot's been around for, although that was one of the last ones I got as a 4-star. I spend too much money on the game, really. And to be honest with you, my spending's going to have to drop a little bit, just because I've got other expenses that came up unexpectedly, so I need to kind of cut back in a little bit areas. So you won't be seeing a whole lot of crystal cracking, like bundle crack crystals. So I mean, the only ones out there really like are like Rhinox, Cybertron Jetfire. Those are the newest ones that I like I don't have. Plus there's still Windblade and Ultra Magnus, but Ultra Magnus would be good. Windblade would be good, but I'm not willing to go be chasing any of them. The only reason I was really chasing, the only time I've ever chased a particular bot like Rust Dust or Snarl or Streetwise was because to complete a combiner. So Sunstreaker Waza, welcome back. I'm sorry if I didn't see you. But you had to finish war. Yeah.
Roll out.
These guys could definitely use help. They're not. It's not my best lineup. I'm gonna stay in zone 12 because they're tough kind of doing 12. I saw somebody did a Photoshop of this screen where they actually showed like where Megatron actually shot Storm Shadow. So they photoshopped Storm Shadow onto the ground like with Megatron blast with him. So that was kind of funny. It's like, so how do you really feel about that G.I. Joe crossover?
Attack! Deploy!
Oh yeah, one of the things that really makes this kind of bad is because I've got, my cup is needs some research, so I threw Air Raid in there.
Stand your ground!
It was completely unintentional, but I suppose this was an appropriate time to actually drop him. They just popped those outposts. It's a very popular strategy of people popping the outpost and then dropping the combiner to soak up the damage and whatnot. So this would be a very good place to have that shield and then that following explosion. All right, let's look at this. Starscream, you toast! Ha ha! Got lucky, got a 4-star swoop from a premium crystal. Very cool, man. Very cool. It's time to quit. Yeah, we're about done. We're into overtime. It's not the first time we've been in overtime. I try to keep it to an hour, but sometimes we end a little early, sometimes we end a little late. Put Defensor to bed. Yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. This is my first run with Defensor since I got him. Because I didn't run the 3-star at all. Except for when we were showing it off, like in the testing or whatever. But since I actually got him in my live game, he's been spending most of the time in the lab just upgrading to level 10 as a 3-star. And then about as soon as I got that, I got the 4-star and then put him in there to level. And I just hadn't taken him out to run him, so this is actually my first time I'm running Defensor on my account, and I am very impressed. Still need to build that combiner outpost. I've been spending all my energy on leveling bots. Oh, this is another good one to have sludge on.
Roll out! Optimus Prime!
He opened the hole. So they've got Optimus Prime telling Defensor to stand your ground, and then he immediately walks away. He's so insubordinate. Just does not listen to anything Optimus says. Stand your ground, okay, and he walks away. It's unfortunate. Defensor is terrible. Oh, I just noticed this is a HQ-16 with a pretty nice little mean-looking laser over there. Think I might have to take a shot at that guy. I don't think I'll get a chance to make a run at him. But I think Jazz can finish. Oh, no, oh, wow, look at that. I didn't even need to send that. That fire actually took it out. It must have been hitting him when he had the reflective shield on it. I'm not in Zone 13 very often. So we got Primal. There's the other laser way over there. A little, yeah. See, with the rest of my team going that side, that laser's not going to do anything for him over there. That laser's way too far away to be protecting the headquarters. I mean, it took out Optimus Primal, but it didn't take. But he's look at that. We got the other guys right there at the headquarters, and that laser's just sitting there like. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, now Pyra Magna's walking a little closer over there instead of going to the headquarters for some reason. That's the only reason they picked her up. Boom! There it goes. Listen to your leader with respect. Defense, stand your ground. Defensor, where are you going? Where are you going?
Finished.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've got I'm back to the original Transformers Earth Wars music. I don't know if you guys knew you could do that. It was. I think we covered it last week or whatever, but. Yeah, it's just over here in the settings. You can actually choose Earth Wars Generation 1 G.I. Joe. It does make you restart your game, but it's there, and it's cool.
Autobots, roll out.
Optimus Max was great in Outpost. Yeah, I bet. We hear you, Skylinks. Finally good for something. Yeah, he was decent in the as a raid bot. I think some of you guys said, but and I've even tried it. He's decent. Victorion doesn't do well enough, in my opinion. I don't think, or at least I haven't had success with her. Defensor probably does good with the raid too, especially with the additional shield that he does. So, oh. Look at all of those walls that you can just walk around. It does have that little outpost in there, so but that outpost bot will just walk through the walls and pick up whoever.
Prowl. Now.
They got HQ 16, but the defenses are not quite HQ 16.
Stand your ground.
G.I. Joe combiners? No. There's no such thing as a G.I. Joe combiner. Although somebody will probably correct me and say, well, actually, there's a vehicle that can combine. This should help with the wall situation. Didn't take him out, but did damage him. That was a good hit. He's probably going to walk away. This would be a good time for Rook. Pop those outposts. Yeah, see, look at that decoy. It's just taking all sorts of damage. Soundwave and all his minions. Of course, it's not causing damage. Jetfire's over there to do it. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? I was probably supposed to lay down the fire first. Got that Omni Flamer trying to take out my bots, but Defensor protected them from a lot of the damage, so they had plenty of health by the time they got to the headquarters. Somebody got taken out. But Rodimus and Pipes are the ones up there getting the flames. Oh, it took out Finally, it took out that rook decoy. Finally, it took out the rook decoy. Oh my goodness.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Oh, I love that they got Peter calling for these voices. Will we see Blur in the game? Pretty likely. Pretty likely. Alright, guys. I'm pretty sure that's it for Defensor. Yes. Inactive. Alright, and as was pointed out a little while ago, we are in overtime, so that's going to do it. I do appreciate everybody coming along and hanging out and checking out the toys and sticking around for some Defensor action. And you know where to find us. Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here. And that's going to do it. I'm Engineer Hoist. Keep rolling, my friends. We'll see you next time.